This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to our member call on design leadership. Thank you very much, Torstein Aas-Hansen from Gjensidige, an insurance firm in Oslo, for joining us and sharing your insights. Let me just hand it over to you and let's get started.
Yeah, thanks so much. And thank you guys for calling in. And of course, thank you, Janus, for inviting me. So I have a few slides. I'm going to go through them, but feel free to interrupt while I'm going, or leave it for the Q&A at the end. So today I'm going to talk to you about design leadership. And as the slide is telling you, it's design leadership for planet, people, and pixels. So, okay, this is the street right outside our office. And of course, as you can see from my webcam, I'm not currently at the office, as is the situation for most of you guys. But I think it's an important note either way to remember that design leadership, it starts outside of the office. So this works even as a metaphor, even if we're in our respective home offices. So it's not just about the people and your colleagues, it's the people and the society outside of the office as well. It's an important side note. And of course, it's not just for people, it's for the oceans that connect us and the land that we live on as well, hence the sustainability part. But going back into the office. So this is a typical setting from our office in Oslo. It's designers, developers, analysts, whatever, collaborating on whatever task. So it's the cross-functional collaboration. It's a really important part of design leadership and making room for that to happen. And of course, it's not just the designers and developers, it's the entire company. So this is from our canteen in Oslo, but we're not just in Oslo. We're in Sweden, in Denmark, and Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And we do business with partners around the world. So it's a lot of people. So we're 4,000 roughly employee company, but we're working with a lot more people than that. And of course, it's the C-suite as well. So this is our CEO, Helge, and I think it's important to note in regards to design leadership that you need to get executive buy-in for whatever you're doing. Unless it's hard to get the impact that you need in order to deliver great customer experiences. Okay, so enough with the intro. Let's get started. So I guess to sort of get you into the tone of it, I think it's good to note that as a design leader, you have to empathize with both customers and colleagues including the C-suite. So design leadership, it's not necessarily a position within the company, but it definitely requires positioning. You need to get yourself known and get yourself heard, unless you're going to fail and probably just end up focusing on the pixels. So it's of course important to see the big picture. So this is the ecosystem of the company, of the products and services of the brand, but as well you need to be aware of the strategy and of course impact the strategy. It's the structure of the way you do work, and it's the surface part, which is kind of the pixels of this little story. And of course, a lot of you are probably aware of concepts like design thinking and design doing and design leadership. It's relevant for both of them. So it's design thinking, training the entire organization in using designer tools to think and act for innovation and progress, basically. And it's design doing with all the specialists doing design work. So important to be aware of both these dimensions. So this design leadership, what is it all about? So I'm going to briefly touch upon these four subjects just to give kind of context to, at least from my point of view, what's important to remember in terms of design leadership. So it's customer experience, it's design operations, it's design systems, and of course, sustainability. So customer experience. I guess you could say it's for the everyday life of our customers. So as a company, we aim to have the most satisfied customers and the highest customer loyalty in our industry. So shout out to Trygg that is calling in. So it's important doing this that you keep your focus on both the business goals, the user needs, and the technology. Because at least we believe that the best customer experience, it happens in the sort of intersection between these three areas. And of course, these are circles that are always moving, and you could focus on one more than another, but the mix, it's immensely important. And in terms of customer experience, we need to empathize with the customer's situation. So of course, on the one hand, it's individuals and it's families, but it's businesses and employees as well. So you need to see the individual and the corporate structures of your employee or customers, regardless if they're private or business. So I'm not spending a lot of time today talking about customer experience because I guess that's a completely different talk, but touching upon design operations as well. And the basics of design operations, it's whatever you do, I guess, for the work life of our fellow designers. So whatever makes them happy and productive and able to deliver great services for our customers. So I included a definition for this from Nielsen and Norman Group. So basically it refers to the orchestration and optimization of people, process, and craft in order to amplify design's value and impact at scale. And this speaks to the introduction as well. So it's the world outside the office, the customers and the society. It's the colleagues of the close one and the rest of them. And of course, it's the craft. The craft is important. So I'm not going into detail about our operation, but we have a centralized design operation. And as I mentioned, we do business in the Nordic and Baltic region, and we even have some subsidiaries, not just Gjensidige as a brand. And we have several cross-functional product teams. We have one for design system, and we have a bunch of others for specific business areas. And like a lot of organizations, we have our own design process. It's nothing unique, but it's helping us sort of guide through the cycle of the design and development work. So we start exploring, then we do the defining, the conceptualizing, and then the implementing. And then we do it all over again. So this is on the big picture level and on the small detailed level. So yeah, it's a lot of different design work. It's workflows, workshops, services, user testing, and whatever. So people, of course, design leadership is like all leadership disciplines, it's about people. So design is a team activity. So in order to succeed, you have to focus your energy and resources on the respective teams within your organization, as well as on the individual designers. So with this example of jazz, you need to make room for the improvisation, although the team have to be able to perform together. So it's not just an individual activity, it's a team activity, but improv is really important. And process, I'm not talking a lot about that today, but you need to find the balance between sort of the individual autonomy, the team autonomy, and the structured central processes. So again, with the empathy, ask your colleagues what they need. Give guidance and directions, and not a set of strict rules to follow. Because remember, we're there to help. And yeah, craft and collaboration. So when you're focused on design leadership, you should never forget the value of the craft. So respect and make room for both individual crafts and cross-functional collaboration. So employ great designers and empower them. So design systems. This is the services that you build internally for your designers and developers. So this is a screenshot of our design system. You see the design. So it's got a few different sections. It's got a component library, obviously, but it's also workflow and tools for designers, editors, developers. It's community, and it's look and feel and tone of voice, like you would find in an old profile guide document somewhere. And of course, it's detailed information about the brand, like the brand strategy and stuff, related to that. So we use tools for it, like this is Abstract. So it's a tool that you have on top of Sketch to do versioning, commenting, annotating on your design work. We have a documentation for the components. So this is the example of a button, which you would also find in Abstract for designers, but this is the real live stuff for both those who want to see it and obviously the developers that want to use it within their project. So yeah, I'm not going into detail here either because it's sort of high level. So if you're interested in learning more about our design system, feel free to get in touch. And of course, one of the things that we are including in our design system is sort of built-in analytics. So on a component level, we include everything you need in order to get the necessary measurements within analytics tools like Google Analytics and even other tools. So related to tools, I've included a random logo slide. So we use Sketch, as I mentioned, in combination with Abstract. So of course you could use Figma if you prefer that. We use CMSs like Enonic and Sitecore. We have Telium as a tag management system. We use Task Analytics, SiteImprove, and the Google Marketing Platform. We use Box for sharing data and Box Notes for collaborating on documents, and a lot of other tools. So yeah, the last chapter, it's sustainability. So for the land and for the oceans. So I'm not sure if you're not getting this video, but it was a video from UN regarding their sustainable development goals. So my point is that as a design leader, you should help your organization contribute to those goals. So as a group, we have decided that these 5 of these goals is our sort of focus areas, but of course we support all of them. So at Gjensidige, our sustainability work includes both financial, environmental, and social factors, as well as corporate governance. So yeah, it actually makes it possible for us to safeguard our customers' lives, health, and assets in a sustainable manner. So it's important for the world outside the office, for our customers, and then of course it's important for us. So going back to this big picture. So design leadership, it's about customer experience, design operations, design systems and sustainability. So thank you so much, guys. So then for
That's
the
very good.
Q&A.
Thank you. We did it. It's good to see the connection to the Sustainable Development Goals. I haven't seen that since the beginning of the pandemic. So thank you for that reminder too. It's important not to lose track of that and seeing the connection from design leadership to the big picture. And thanks also for sharing the details from the big picture slides to the actual nitty-gritty of how your design system is implemented. I was quite impressed when I saw it first. I know this went a little bit quickly. I'll flesh it out a little bit in a blog post, but I was hoping that this was a useful introduction to design leadership for all of you. But let's take some questions. Feel free to basically just unmute and ask along, or you can also write in the chat. But who wants to go first? Eiste from Copenhagen, dialing in from the office. You go.
Hi, Torstein. Thank you very much. It was very interesting to hear how you guys approach design. I got a little bit. I was thinking when you showed this very nice three-sided Venn diagram that you need to approach both business goals, user needs, and technology. The user needs part. How do you distinguish between user needs and user wants? Because sometimes those things, they clash with each other. Like we all know that we need to protect customer data, but not all customers want to log in when communicating, and similar examples. How much attention do you pay to that?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So I guess the way we go about it, it's about research and insight to the specific segments that we try to sort of conquer with our products and services. And we do a lot of user testing. We do a lot of interviews with customers, and we use different sources of data. So we're really focused on the customer tasks, and you're probably familiar with the concept of jobs to be done. So it's not sort of what the customer wants in regards to, oh, that would be nice, that would probably be a good idea, but we try to sort of optimize for that intersection between the tasks that they, for different reasons, have to perform and our business, and of course the technology part as an enabler for that.
Got
So
it.
it's
Thank you.
it's really important to combine the different sources of data, and not to just ask people what they want, because that would probably give you too much random answers.
All right. Thank you. Then we have one from Nicholas. Nicholas, would you mind stating your question? Perhaps an ultra brief intro.
Yes. Thank you very much, Torstein, for this comprehensive presentation. Very interesting. In the team of your DesignOps, in the design team, could you say a word about the skills and profile that you need in your design team?
Yeah, absolutely. So at least the way we have approached it, we have people within working specifically with DesignOps, which have a background in some sort of design discipline. So it's either product designers, visual designers, content designers, but at least what we have found, it's really valuable to have people running operations that also understand the craft, and it's easier to empathize with the designer's needs. So I guess it's like in a lot of other disciplines. I guess it's a way to specialize. So pick some of the designers that would sort of like to have more leadership and operations type tasks, and train them in design operations. And you could start small and scale when you're ready, both from an individual perspective and as an organization. It doesn't have to be a bunch of full-time positions doing design operations, but again, it depends on your organization and the sort of maturity level of your design team.
Thank you.
All right. Next question, anyone?
Yes, here. So I'm Nianhua from Amsterdam, Bloomreach. And I also want to ask a common question about design system. So as far as I know, it is pretty common that design system itself is prepared, is maintained by a separate team, sometimes called central design team or design system team. And I also noticed that it's pretty common that design system is left behind by the product or feature design team because sometimes they have edge cases or different use cases all the time. So I'm really curious, how did you maintain, or how does this central design team collaborate with other teams? How can they review? How can they add or revise the system so that everyone can agree with this centralized design library?
Yeah, that's a really good question as well. And as you mentioned, this is sort of the $1 billion question for a lot of organizations. And
Exactly.
I don't think it's a sort of one size fits all, but at least from our perspective, this idea of a community surrounding the design system has been really crucial. So we do have a centralized design systems team, and they're working on this design system from day to day, but they're not doing all the work. They're just orchestrating it and making it possible for other teams and projects to work in this design systems way. So in regards to the component library, both for designers and developers, it's pull requests from all over the organization. So they're not the central design system team. They're not the team doing all the work. They're just facilitating and making it possible for others to make reusable, scalable components. So I think that's a really important part of this. At least that's been for us to make sure that we have ownership and buy-in across the organization. So the design system team is not the owners of this design system. Everybody is. They're just the ones delivering these services. And I guess the service perspective is important as well. So it's not this launch and leave scenario. It's continuous. So it's a never-ending delivery.
I really like what you said. The system is centralized, but the ownership is shared. It's a pretty good point.
All right, very good. Very good. Closing question, anybody in there? I like that quote too. Thank you for asking that, getting it out there.
Yeah, it looks like it's one more question in the chat at least.
Yeah, are you okay to take it away? Or you can just unmute. Is that you, Matt? Unmute.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be on mute, but
Mark. Yeah, we can't hear you, Mark.
At least.
Or no, we can see you, but we can't hear you. No.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just repeat the question. So
Yes.
what what you asked is, I'd like to hear your thoughts about how to get out of the chicken-egg problem of educating executives in the importance of doing groundwork such as design systems, which often seems like a larger upfront cost, but the payoff is further down the road. So yeah, I guess the answer is it's kind of similar to the previous one, because this as well, it's about ownership, and it's about collaboration. So in talking to executives, you need to be talking their language. So some of them understand numbers, some understands operations, the strategic dimension of it. Others dive into the employer branding perspective of it. So if you don't organize your work in this way, people are less likely to want to work for a company. So I guess it depends on your individual executive and where she or he is coming from. But speak to them on their terms. Don't try to educate them on every single detail of a design system, but have it match whatever they're focused on at the moment, and yeah, remember both the big picture and the long term. And for a lot of organizations, even if you're not having some sort of design system today, you probably are, because you have some elements of at least what we regard as design system. So it's yet again, it's about starting small and making it possible to scale.
All right. I think we have a great finish here with the word scaling. Thank you very much, Torstein. Thank you for taking the time. Really appreciate it. I will share this recording and the slides and my notes, and feel free everybody to chip in. And Torstein's contact details are also here prominently on the slide for the last 10 minutes. So feel free to connect, and then we can continue the conversation on the important topic of design leadership. Thank you once again, Torstein. Tusind tak.
Thank you.